함께 할 수 있을까 baby 네 눈을 보면 알 수 있을까
$30,000. Are you there yet? Or the market is calling for a huge correction? Make sure be ready and plan ahead. Looking into the charts, I would like to share this analysis for today, as know that the euphoria is so high after we just broke to 24,000 this season. And as you noticed, during the 24th of December, we are playing around 24,000. The next day, we're playing on the 25,000. On the 26th, we're playing on the 26,000. And on the 27th, we even broke to not just the 27,000 but even the 28,000 range. So I know that lots of people right now are so high into the market, and it seems like everyone is so bullish. But I just like to remind that during this time we actually had some huge correction. So with that, better plan for ourselves, and I'd like to share this stock to flow ratio by plan B. At the same time, I would like also to show the past things that happened in Bitcoin during this season. So if you're familiar already with plan B stock to flow ratio, as you can see now that we are on this range, and every time that we're trying to make some big move, it seems that the target for the next stock to flow is around the 100,120 ratio. So I don't want everyone to get too excited with this one, as of course this is gonna be a long run and there's gonna be a bump during the way. So with that, let me show and share you these things on Bitcoin during the past season. So we're gonna go back in December 2013, and then as we know, that was the bull market that ended around 86-87% downward correction during the 2014 and 2015. But after that, at the end of 2015, December up to January, that's the time that it makes its way again to the parabolic move going 2017. But notice, before we actually did that event, or that event happened, see that on December up to January, though we had a huge run, after that we actually had around more than 25% down correction on the market. Now, followed by this one, this 2013-2014 all-time high was broke around this range also on the December. We tried to attempt to break it, but we failed. And then by the time of January, February, finally we broke it through. But after breaking it and reaching it recording another all-time high, we went down around 34%, 35%. Are we ready for those corrections? And now, as we know, the 2017 all-time high, after that we experienced this bear market and we went down to almost 85%, almost the same with what happened in 2013. As we know, things happens again, and we are on the run, and until finally we broke through again the 2017 all-time high. And now it seems that the market, or the technical support and the analysis on the charts, are showing that we might have a correction around 30%, 35% if this continue, and we might even reach this target that we initially talked about last time. If you're gonna check my previous videos, especially the exit strategy, I mentioned there that one possible target that people and institution might take profit is the 30,000 range. As we know, it's considered as a big or huge even numbers, and people tends to take profit. So if we will reach that around 30,000 range, and then we're gonna pull back, the support that we could see here is around the 20,000 range. So we might actually get around 35% or even more in terms of percentage when it comes to the correction. We better prepare if we would like to take some profit. Are we gonna take hold on this one, continue to hold it until we reach our target on the 100K if you are actually following the stock to flow ratio that I just showed you a while ago by Plan B, as what we're showing here? Or are we going to do and have some profit on this range? So I don't want us to be caught up like a deer on the headlights, and we have nothing to do but just to stand there and be crushed by the market. So better prepare for ourselves. I'm not saying that right now it will have a correction, but because as you can see, it seems like there's still a room for us to move up. But if you're going to check the indicators right now, especially when we check the daily, you will see here that we are starting to have a divergence already. So we have a bearish divergence on the daily, and as you can see, even though the price is going up, but on the relative strength, the market is showing now weakness. So is this mean that we're gonna have now a pullback on the 20,000 range, 19,000 or even 18,000? Worst scenario is, since there's not much trading on this part, we might even go down up to 14,000, 13,000 or the 12,000 range. It's going to be a 60% correction. So with that, I would like us to be ready just in case this scenario happen. And for those people that would like to be kept updated, feel free to subscribe, like this video, share it, and even do your comments or ask some questions, and let's try to discuss it. Try to share also what do you think on what will happen on the market. But seems like the technical is showing us this already possible scenario. So again, I'm not saying that this will happen right now or even tomorrow, but there's a big possibility. There's a big possibility as the market shows us the data that this scenario is really on the table. So if in case this 25,000, 24,000 range will not hold, because as you see, the 25,000, we just simply broke it without even hard time, or let's say it didn't even run sideways. It didn't even consolidate on the 25,000. It simply poked it and goes straight to the 28,000 range. So just in case there will be a correction, the one that I'm looking as the first support is the 24,000 range to 22,000 range, and then the next one will be the 20,000 range. But looking on the Fibonacci, just for us to have an idea, for our newbies, maybe you're not that familiar with Fibonacci, so this is actually a ratio that can be found in almost everything, human nature, even in the universe, the design of our farm. So you may just check Google if you want to learn about this fib, but definitely this is actually, it plays lots of roles on the market, and even trading it's not exemption. There's no exemption. So as you can see, I just draw this Fibonacci, and you will see that it actually reaching this important mark on the 0.23, even on the 0.382 range of fib. So these are the things that we might try to check, and especially the golden ratio. This is we considered as the most important part of this fib. We always tends to have a correction on this range, on what we call golden packet ratio. So And this is around 13,000, 12,000 range. Let's just keep that on our mind. I know this is an exciting moment right now. Everyone is excited on the market, and probably we're starting to count now our profit, but just take precautions on what are the possible things that will happen. Speaking of that, I just like to share on what's going on right now on my trades. Right now we're still holding the Ethereum that we bought, I think around 440 range. So we've been up now for quite some time. Checking the total profit, we're around up by 65-66% now. So also on Litecoin, we previously entered this market around 90, 91. So let's see, and currently we're up by almost 40%. Yeah, 40%. So if you notice, my style of trading, I'm not into much of day trading, especially if I don't have any time. So what I do is I try to tend to look on the larger time frame and see what are the possible scenario, so that I could do the position trading. And I'm just looking for what you call correction on a daily or a weekly, and from there I would see the possible play. So that's how I do on my trading lately, though sometimes I still do scalping and day trading, but most of the time, since I'm already doing some recording, I do have my two children with me, and both I and my wife are working also, and she has a shifting schedule, so it's gonna be too difficult for me to always check and stay on the market watching the chart. So what I do normally is just to do a position trading and see what is the actual trend of the market. So if you would like to learn more about that, just check the details on our video. You could check our charts, the E-wave counting that we do. And speaking of that, let me share to you guys my primary count so far based on the given data of Bitcoin. As I said, there's still a room for Bitcoin to go up, so it might even reach my primary target of 32,000 or more than 30,000 range. But as I said, 30,000 would be a possible ceiling or possible resistance before we even reach that. But as we know, the euphoria in the market, FOMO, so retail might come in and it might even push to that target. So what will happen if that's the case? Then that's the time that I'm pretty sure that there will going to be a huge correction on the market, and a possible of 23%, 25%, even down to 40% is not impossible. So let's try to check that and see and plan ahead on how we should play this market here. But for you wondering how come that I reached this 32,000, just a quick illustration using the fib extension and how important this one, especially when you're doing a Elliott wave. This is how we normally do it, and these fib extensions are really important, and as you can see, the market is really expecting this fib extension. So from here, we already reached the 1.618 target that we had, and now we're reaching into this final target that we might see if the market will really push this, and see if the bulls are really that strong before we have that correction. But it doesn't mean that once we had the correction, because as you know, in a bull market, it's normal to have a correction. It's normal to have a correction, and it doesn't mean that it's already the end of the trend. It's just that it's just getting ready for another huge run. So as you can see, during this 2017, we had another correction that reaches around 39%. Those are huge correction before we reach another all-time high. And from that, we had another correction of around almost 40% again. So every time it tried to reach another all-time high, it expect that there will be a correction. So here we had another correction of almost 30%. So how many times we had a correction every time that we reaches all-time high? So with that, please be careful on the market. Try to plan and see how you're going to deal with this one. And don't just simply see that the market will go up straight like an elevator, or you're riding into your space shuttle and saying that you are going now to the moon. That's not how the market goes. Although it might happen in a short period, but expect also that there's going to be a huge correction. So just like what I'm always saying, if you are riding it on an elevator going up, going down, you might use a slide. So it's even gonna be painful for everyone. Checking the other market, dollar is still continuously going down, and still there's no sign of change on the market. We didn't even break this previous high for us to have a change of trend. But what happened is it simply made a lower high again compared to this, and now we are trying to test this support of 89 points on the index of the dollar. But looks like things are getting worse, and the possible support, next possible support that we might, is already on the 88 range, and this will really hurt the dollar index. As we know, US are still continuing to print their money, and while we are working here to gain dollars, the rest of the world are just watching them. Let's be aware also with that. As we know, if dollar will continue to plummet, gold and Bitcoin will continue to move up also. But comparing gold to Bitcoin, we could clearly see that Bitcoin already beaten gold. That's why on my previous blogs I already mentioned institutions are transferring to Bitcoin. Healthy Minds is reminding you that we're not financial advisor, so always validate and do your own research.